the drugs.
Do you shake a pill bottle and say, is this what you're looking for, junkie?
I have done that.
And under what theory is that helpful?
I never said that it was helpful.
Don't be sarcastic. I'm asking you a legitimate question.
I'm
so don't play games with me.
I gave you an answer.
No, you didn't give me an answer. You gave me a smart-ass remark.
Plus, a family mystery.
I kept the secret for 25 years.
Revealed at last.
She not only knew her dad had faked his death, she actually helped him plan it. Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Pretty free. Take it.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Blood is thicker than water, and family always comes first, right? Well, that's not the case with today's guests who are struggling with secrets, betrayal, and shocking revelations. Jody says her husband Glenn has been lying to her for years and that the man she once loved is nothing but a drug addict looking for his next fix.
My husband is a drug addict. He is addicted to Oxycontin, oxycodone, and methadone.
This is the second out of 4 oxycodone that I'll take today. Tonight, I'll take an 80 milligram that actually knocks me out.
Glenn has been using drugs for about 7 or 8 years. I have only known about it for 3 or 4. Glenn has lied consistently to me. He goes to doctors behind my back. I do judge him. It wasn't until I got an insurance letter in the mail that I first saw the word Oxycontin. Glenn just quickly went into his rationale. It is medicine. I need it for my back. I am not a drug addict.
This is what a script looks like. It's cost about well over $1,000 for 60 pills.
The amount of drugs that he takes is no different than a regular addict. The Glenn that I married was not a liar then. He was not sneaky. This Glenn is not somebody that I recognize anymore. I would notice cash missing and ask him where he spent it. He would make up things that really made no sense. I realized that he was paying cash for drugs. Glenn always tells me that I am not very sympathetic to his situation, that if I had cancer, would I kick him out because he's on chemo. I have met with a divorce attorney to find out what my options are. If something doesn't change, I'm going to lose my mind. I can't do this anymore.
Glenn says his wife is the one who's lying and being deceitful, and he hates the person that she has become.
Jody thinks I'm a drug addict because I take Oxycontin and oxycodone, which is prescribed for a long-term back injury. It's something that I need to tolerate the pain. So I take 1 Oxycontin in the morning and 4 throughout the day, and another at night. I'm gonna have to take my medication pretty soon. Jody was lying about me taking pain medication and her not knowing. She really doesn't have any sympathy. Jody hasn't said a nice thing to me in the last 5 years. Calls me a piece of a loser, a drug addict. Jody has absolutely poisoned the kids. She shakes the pills and said, you know, hey, drug addict, is this what you want? You need your fix? In front of my kids. When I heard that she filed for divorce, I was totally blindsided, and I slept in the truck stop for 5 days, no food, no money, nothing. And I came back and walked in the door, and she told me that she's gonna call the police. She said that, don't eat my food, and that killed me. September 4th was our 24th anniversary. I don't think you throw away 24 years so easily.
Okay, look, this is you guys are in a real pickle here, right? I mean, the tension between the two of you and what this is doing to your family has gotten to a critical point, correct?
Yes.
So if something doesn't happen to change, this whole thing's going to fall apart.
Absolutely.
Correct.
All right, now, do you want this to work? Do you want this marriage to work? Do you want this family to stay intact? Or are you past that point?
If he can admit that this is a problem and get help, then I will stay here to support him. If he continues with the same, it's medicine, it's what I need, I can't do this anymore, and I won't.
All right, and what do you want?
Well, I love my wife more than anything. I think that it's a legitimate, I have a problem. I'm in pain now on the medicine. And I get it prescribed from doctors. They certainly don't hand this out like chiclets these days. And, you know, she just does not want to understand that or does not want to hear that. She's been to the doctor with me once over the past 20 years. And, you know, so it's a tough situation. I mean, it's something I need. But when you're called a drug addict over and over in front of your kids, it's kind of tough.
Well, he says that you have been very difficult to deal with about this. And tell me, what do you guys want from me? Listen, because I'm going to tell you what I want from you, but I want to know what you want from me.
I'd like him to get off drugs. If I'm going to hold my marriage together, I would like him to get off drugs.
So you want me to get him off of drugs?
If that's a possibility.
Okay, do you have any issues here that need dealing with?
I'm sure I do.
Okay, we'll come back to that. What do you want from me?
Well, I've been to 10 doctors, and I'd love to get the pain. You know, I'm not a paraplegic. I would think that my back in one way or another could be healed or fixed, or somehow the pain could be alleviated, so I hate taking this. And I would love to get off the drugs. I would love to go to detox and to a substance abuse program, because my kids have told me.
But why would you do that if you need them for pain? I mean, you just told me, you just gave me your speech. You said, I'm on these because I need them. This is appropriate long-term pain management for a back problem. I've got legitimate prescribed drugs from legitimate physicians, but I want you to put me in a substance abuse program. Are you an abuser or are you not?
No, I'm not. But you know what? In order to keep my family, she just told you she wants me off drugs. You know, I need to get off drugs to keep my family. Okay,
because here's what needs to, look. Have you seen this show before?
Yes, sir.
You watched the show?
I have.
Have you seen the show before?
Yes, I have.
A time or two or a lot?
Well, she's seen it a lot more than I have. I've seen it about 5 or 6 times.
5 or 6 times. Sucker. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm being honest.
No, well, let me be honest. Look, it's like you guys are down in the trench and you're fighting and you're fighting and you're fighting, and then I come in completely objective. I don't have a dog in the hunt here. I'm not vested. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you anything. I just come in and assess the situation and tell you what I see, and then I try to put verbs in my sentences so you know what I think you need to do. Okay, would you like that from me?
I would.
Would you like that from me? You don't have to do it.
No, I think
I mean,
it's
you
great.
can leave
It's
here and say, you know, bald-headed sumbitch doesn't know anything. It's okay. I mean, seriously, you can. I've been called worse. I've been called worse probably today. So, you know, I don't play to be politically correct. I'm just going to tell you the truth, and then you do what you want to with it. So I'm going to tell you what I think, and then we'll see what you're going to do. I'm going to start with you, because I think you believe you are a victim of a drug addict that has wrecked your family. And what I'm going to tell you is you got as much ownership in it as he does. And I'm going to tell you why right after the break. Don't be sarcastic. I'm asking you a legitimate question. So don't play games with me.
I gave you an answer.
No, you didn't give me an answer. You gave me a smart-ass remark.
This whole issue with my dad affects our relationship. I wish that the drugs didn't exist. I wish he didn't have to take them.
What are you taking this semester anyway?
That is the reason why everything is the way it is. We are definitely put in the middle of our parents arguing, of our parents' marriage. They talk through us. They don't talk to each other.
We're dead center.
Half of our conversations are talking to each other to come up with plans to get them to not act like 2-year-olds for 2 seconds. I want my mom to be happy. And I think she's come to terms with the fact that maybe it's not possible. It's going to tear us apart if we're forced to choose sides.
We're talking about families torn apart by lies and deceit. Now, you just saw Jody and her husband Glenn's 2 oldest sons, who both say they worry about their father's addiction to prescription drugs, a secret he admits to hiding from his family for years. They also say they feel caught in the middle of their parents' marriage drama. You know, I said I think you got some ownership in this. Do you call him a drug addict, loser, piece of in front of the children?
At times.
Okay, so tell me, why are you...
Oh, my God, every day.
No.
Every day.
Every day. Do you do it on a regular basis?
At times.
Are you verbally abusive with him?
I give as good as I get.
Do you shake a pill bottle and say, is this what you're looking for, junkie?
I have done that.
Okay. And under what theory is that helpful?
I never said that it was helpful. There is no manual on how to deal with somebody that has disengaged from you due to drugs. And I get very, very frustrated. And we've had some ugly arguments, absolutely. And I take ownership of that.
You do say that you judge him.
I absolutely
You think he's
judge
weak.
him.
You've lost respect for him.
At this point.
I'm just asking.
Okay.
You say he's selfish, puts himself ahead of the family.
His need ahead of the family.
He will do anything to get pills.
Absolutely.
And you say his level of deceitfulness is disgusting. What do
It
you
has
mean?
gotten to that point.
What do you mean?
I sent him to detox a year ago, and he, unbeknownst to me, hid 33 pills in his car for the day he got out. I think that's a little deceitful.
Don't be sarcastic. I'm asking you a legitimate question,
I'm
so don't
giving
play
an
games
answer.
with me.
I gave you an answer.
No, you didn't give me an answer. You gave me a smart-ass remark. And when I have asked you the questions, you're giving me half answers. So, oh, occasionally, from time to time. Look, you've got to be honest here, or we're not going to be able to fix this. You may play that game with him, but you ain't going to play a game with me. You need to plug in here and decide you're going to be part of the solution, or you're going to be part of the problem. And right now, you're part of the problem. And I need you to own it. You've gotten to the point where the most honest thing you could say is, you know what? I'm so sick of this, I have lost compassion. I have lost reason, and I'm not proud of that. It is not flattering, and I realize I'm not helping. Would you agree with that statement?
I would absolutely agree with that.
Okay, then we're friends again. Listen, I need you to help me here. I don't need...
I really need a friend, too.
Yeah, you do. You do. So you don't want to alienate me because I'm getting ready to jump his ass. Okay? So I'm the last guy you want to alienate. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm through with you for now.
Thank you.
As long as we're honest about what we're doing. Okay. Have you ever heard that old saying, the fans, not the players?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, I'm a player. When I went to school, I had two areas of specialization. One clinical, which dealt with all the mental and emotional aspects, and the other behavioral medicine. And my specialty was pain management, brain and central nervous system. So you don't want to come tell a guy that knows better that using those drugs long term is okay, because they're not okay. Doesn't mean you don't have a legitimate problem. I don't disagree with that. I don't know whether you do or you don't. I haven't examined your back. I haven't seen x-rays. I haven't seen MRIs. What I know is you are using a short-term medication on a long-term basis. And I suspect you're lying to get it, or you have found some incompetent doctors. You said, hey, in this day and time, we don't hand these out like chiclets. Oh, yes, we do. Yes, we do. Come on. I mean, you can go to a pain clinic and get 360 of these and walk out with them, and you don't even have to have an x-ray or an MRI. All you got to do is be willing to say you hurt. And the fact that you get them from a doctor makes them no less toxic, makes you no less addicted.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, you want me to speak and respond? I have gone to spinal clinics throughout the... I've gone to spinal clinics throughout the country. I mean, I have discs that need surgery to be replaced, okay? I do not doctor shop. I don't even drink. I do nothing else. I don't want to be on this medicine. I would love to be off this medicine, okay? I would absolutely love to be off this medicine. But if I'm in agony when I'm on the medicine, how will I feel off the medicine?
Taking these drugs long term is not a legitimate solution. By the way, do they work?
Yeah, I guess they do.
You said you're still in agony.
Well, I'm not in agony. I can function. It enables me to function. But actually, you know what? Honestly, Dr. Phil, what's happened is when you build up a tolerance to this medicine. 10 years ago when I first started taking Percocet, it wasn't nearly as effective on my personality as it is now. When you're taking 300 milligrams a day of oxycodone, it does affect your personality. It does affect your ability to perform your job.
You're taking 300 milligrams of oxycodone.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Total.
Well, I just recently had shoulder surgery, and I will admit I don't drink or haven't had a drink in 45 years. I don't do drugs, I don't drink. And they gave me, Robin will attest to this, they gave me 5 milligrams. And they said, you know, when the numbness wears off, you need to take this. And so I did, I took it. And it was like 1 in the afternoon, and I remember saying, I need to get up and go downstairs. And I didn't go to sleep, I just sat there. And then I looked at my watch and I said, it's 4:30. I need to get up and go downstairs. I've been sitting there for 3.5 hours staring at the wall on 5 milligrams, to the point, she will attest, I said, I just can't take these anymore. You're just going to get me an ice bag or something. I'm a zombie. On 5, you're taking 300.
Correct.
Are you kidding me? That means you have built up a tolerance to this medication that it is no longer even remotely doing what it was intended to do. It's no longer a treatment for your back pain. It has just become something that you've developed a dependency on. It isn't helping you. You need something that will help you for this, and that's not it.
Okay, that's why we're here.
But I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, all right, let's take a break, and then I'm going to say what I think needs to happen next. I will be clear. You will not have to guess what I think. You've got to lean forward to get off of these drugs. And if that means drug test or whatever, so she has confidence that you are being legitimate, not hiding 33 pills in your car, that would never happen with an intervention I did, because we would search your car. We would take the handles off of your luggage and empty them out and see what's in there. I didn't just fall off a load of turnips. Well, I'm back with Jody and Glenn, and what we're dealing with here is what I believe is an addiction to prescription medications. And people seem to think that if you get meds from a doctor, a legitimate doctor with a MD and a sheepskin on the wall, that it's somehow different than if you buy them on the street. But your body doesn't know where you got them. Your body just reacts to what you're doing to it. And what you're telling me you're taking here is abuse of these medications. And any doctor that is giving you these with the knowledge that you've been on them for 10 years, I would love to chat with. I would love to chat with, and I suspect the medical board would love to chat with them, because that is just inappropriate. It is not healthy. It's not good. You're not helping by demeaning him, calling him names, putting him down, and certainly not doing that in front of his children. Come on. You have an illegitimate reaction to a legitimate concern. Your concern is legitimate. Your reaction is not legitimate.
What would have been a legitimate reaction?
What would have been a legitimate reaction would be to challenge his physicians, to come up with alternative intervention protocols. What would have been a legitimate reaction is to have a no-kidding, supportive, heart-to-heart conversation with him about his addiction, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 5 times, until. You never surrender to the disease of addiction, not ever. If it takes 10 times, you do it 10 times. If it takes 11, you do 11. If it takes 111, you do it 111. But listen, I want to talk to you just man to man here. This is headed nowhere for you. Your back pain, if it is legitimate, and as I say, I'm assuming it is, and I've had severe back pain. I've got blown out disc. I've had it treated without taking those pills, and it got resolved. And, you know, we're like a couple of women. I'll show you yours, you show me mine. I got this scar over here, and see this here. I'm gonna bet mine's as bad as yours, but everybody's different. If you have the problem, you deserve to be free of it. I know how it just wears you out. It just, I get it. You're just miserable. You shouldn't have to suffer with that. You shouldn't have to be where you just can't get comfortable. It never turns you loose. It just constantly nags and nags at you. And you get tired of that, don't you?
And I get tired of that, and I get tired of the effects of the medicine as well.
Yeah. You get tired of that kind of being in half trance?
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what needs to happen here, but I believe half the solution to any problem lies in defining it. And if you will work with me on this, I am willing to get involved with you and help figure out what's going on. Now, there is a neurosurgeon at Cedars Hospital, and his name is Dr. Patrick Johnson, and I believe he would probably be on the short list of the best neurosurgeons in the country, and he specializes in spine and spinal pain. He is the best there is.
Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste it, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me.
I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things. Gonna make a fucking name, I just wanna be famous. But I don't want that cheap fame, no I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. I just wanna be greatness. I just wanna be greatness. I just wanna be greatness.
Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste it, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you go and hate this, you can fucking bite me.
Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent. And it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic.
He's my doctor. I've used him. He's been an expert on the show. He is the best of the best. And I don't want to just get you off of the drugs and then leave you writhing in pain. If it's legitimate, that's just trading problems. That's not what I want to do. I want to find out what is really wrong with you and find out what the appropriate treatment protocol for that is. And the first thing that's going to have to happen once that's done is you're going to have to get off these drugs, you're going to have to detox, and you're going to have to use alternative interventions. Will you do that with me?
Absolutely, thank you. Absolutely.
Will you do that with me?
Yes,
I will
sir.
send you to this guy that is the best of the best. I've already talked to him. He has agreed to see you. And when that happens, you've got to lean forward to get off of these drugs.
I will do
And
that.
I mean do it in a serious and committed way. And if that means drug test or whatever, so she has confidence that you are being legitimate and not hiding 33 pills in your car, that would never happen with an intervention I did, because we would search your car. We would take the handles off of your luggage and empty them out and see what's in there. We would pull off the heels of your shoes. We would do everything. I didn't just fall off a load of turnips. But you get involved with me, you're going to wind up off the drugs and with answers about your back.
Well, thank you
Serious.
very much.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Next, a woman who says the unthinkable happened to her husband at the hands of the most unlikely person.
He was sitting outside of his garage, him and his wife, in lawn chairs. My daughter came running to the house saying so-and-so shot Dad.
The shocking killing of unarmed teenager Trayvon Martin sent shockwaves through the country last year and sparked a huge debate over whether or not shooter George Zimmerman's life was truly in danger and if, in fact, he acted in self-defense. Well, my next guest, Crystal, says the Trayvon Martin story hits home for her because a few months ago, her husband was killed by a man who claimed self-defense. But in this case, the shooter was not a stranger.
My husband, Rocky, was shot and killed by a man that's claiming self-defense. It was my daughter's birthday. We had some coolers that we had left in the shooter's truck. My husband was just going to pick up our coolers, and my daughter wanted to go with them. Rocky pulled up in the street. My daughter sat in the truck. Rocky walked to the shooter, and that is when the shooter stood up and shot him the first time. My daughter said that she was screaming, "What are you doing? Stop, please stop." My husband then was shot again. My daughter actually jumped through the driver's side window and came running to the house screaming, "Someone shot my dad." The shooter called 911 and said that Rocky had charged at him and his wife. My daughter said that that was not true at all.
He didn't deserve this. My children didn't deserve this. And I will do whatever it takes to see that justice gets served.
Crystal, I'm glad to meet you, but I'm really sorry for the circumstance.
Thank you.
Tell me, if you can, the shooter in this situation was known to you, right?
He was a very good friend of ours, actually. He called my daughter his princess. My daughter and his son were actually talking or dating or doing whatever 11, 12-year-olds do. We'd spent New Year's with them. Actually, the week before my husband had died, we had all went out to karaoke together, which was the last time that they had spoke or seen each other. My husband was a driller on an oil field, in the oil field, so when he left from Wednesdays to Wednesdays, Tuesday night we had been with the shooter. My husband left Wednesday, got home the following Wednesday at midnight. That Thursday for my daughter's birthday, we had went and had a family lunch and was supposed to stop by and pick up a cooler. The shooter said it's bleached out but not rinsed.
This was a friend?
Yes.
So if a friend comes to a friend's house, why would the friend feel threatened?
I had gotten into it with the shooter about a week before that.
So there was some discourse
between him and I about the way he had done his son. He had called it smoking. which is, I guess, a military term. You know, it'd make him do push-ups and bear rolls and all this stuff. His son was scared to go home. He was shaking. And so I talked to the shooter, and I was like, there's a difference in respect and fear. And when your children fear you, something's wrong. He was mad at me about that. He wasn't mad at my husband.
You hadn't told your husband, you need to go over there and whoop this guy? Or
No, he was sitting outside of his garage, him and his wife, in lawn chairs. My daughter came running to the house saying, so-and-so shot Dad. So-and-so shot Rocky. Someone help me. My daughter and I, the 11-year-old, were sitting outside and heard multiple gunshots.
Be right back.
I don't know how to go on when the other half of me is already gone. We're just at a standstill. We don't know what to do or how to live without him. He was our hero.
So how's your daughter handling this at this point?
Not well at all. She watched her dad get murdered. Both of my daughters and my son are having a very hard time with it. I don't know how to go on when the other half of me is already gone. You know, we're just at a standstill. We don't know what to do or how to live without him. He was our hero.
First thing I will tell you is not to isolate yourself at all, because this is overwhelming. It's overwhelming for you. You have children to nurture and mentor when you yourself feel like you've had your heart ripped out.
Exactly.
And it's hard to give away what you don't have.
Exactly.
So you need to let people minister to you as well. You need to go to your church. You need to go to family members. You need to let your friends and neighbors. And, you know, we always wonder if someone's lost someone and you see them at the grocery store or whatever, do you bring it up or do you not? Because you never know, because it's like if they seem like they're doing okay, people feel like, well, I don't want to bring them down by mentioning it. That's the wrong thing to do. And I hope if your friends and family are watching this, they don't need to wonder if it's gone away, because it hasn't with you.
It'll never.
So they need to reach out to you, and you need to let them. Don't isolate. Don't tell, oh, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Don't do that.
No, because
say we're
we
lost.
Don't do okay,
we're
good.
reeling. We don't know what to do. So take the help. If somebody wants to fix dinner for you, let them. If they want to watch the kids, let them. If they want to come over and just sit with you and cry with you, let them. Talk about this. Give it a voice and get it out. And encourage your children to do so as well. It's really important that they not go back in their room and sit there and feel like, I don't want to make mommy cry, so I can't mention that I'm scared or afraid or confused. Let them know it's okay that we cry. We cry together.
We cry as a family.
Yeah, and let them know that. It's okay, you know, come sit in mom's lap, we'll cry together. Don't make them feel guilty if they say or do something that upsets you. And don't you feel guilty about them seeing you cry. What you're doing is modeling for them when we lose things we love, when we lose people we love, we do hurt, we do cry, and they will also observe you survive, and so they learn it hurts and we cry, but we do get past it. We are resilient. We do move on. So I encourage you to reach out, not be isolated, talk to your children a lot, and go on a mission. You will find strength and purpose. And that's why I say you need to talk about this. And you need some very specific professional support from a skilled grief counselor. And with your permission, I'm going to arrange that for you and for your children.
Wonderful.
I'm going to arrange that for you and your children.
My father finally decided that he would go on a fishing trip and fake his death by drowning, and it worked. No one could catch him.
This story made national news and even appeared on Unsolved Mysteries 25 years ago. Take a look.
Detectives say Robert Arcieri carried on a life of crime in the 1980s, has been arrested nearly 25 years after faking his own death.
I couldn't believe it.
The man was hiding a big secret, living a double life.
State of Arizona versus Robert George Arcieri.
I am so sorry, and I want to apologize to everyone.
In the 80s, Arcieri was involved in a number of organized crimes, including the burglary of a couple. Several months later, Arcieri disappeared on the Colorado River. Friends say he drowned. Police learned last year that Arcieri was living in Palm Springs under the name Frank Roman Reynolds.
That defendant will serve the aggravated term of 10 years.
I'm a man of 73 years of age, and for the last 25 years I've asked the Lord to forgive me probably 1,000 times.
The convicted con man pleaded guilty to solicitation to commit murder, armed robbery, and conspiring to commit theft.
You never know who your neighbors are.
Well, today, for the first time, Robert's daughter is exclusively speaking out. She is here to admit that she not only knew her dad had faked his death, but she actually helped him plan it.
My father was going to go to jail for 25 years, and he told me he couldn't do it, so he needed to fake his death. I would have done anything to keep him safe, and I did. I kept the secret for 25 years. I know that there were two sides of my father. However, the only side that I really saw was my father, who was great, and I loved him more than anything. One of the crimes that my father was specifically charged with was a robbery and assault. After my father was arrested, they dropped the charges because they wanted to create an even larger case against him. When my father was set free, he started to plan faking his death. My father told me several different scenarios of how to fake his death, and some of them were just too unrealistic. My father finally decided that he would go on a fishing trip and fake his death by drowning. He went in horrible weather conditions, and he had bought a small motorhome. Once he got out of the water, he could just walk a few miles, get into the motorhome, drive away. And it worked. No one could catch him.
Well, for 25 years, Christine knew where her father was when no one else did. So why did she turn him into the police only a year ago?
I saw my father about 6 months after he disappeared. I was so happy to see my father again, but I couldn't have imagined how it would have affected the rest of my life. I was very torn, and I felt extreme guilt and shame. I had to lie to everyone to cover up for my father. I was living two different lives because I was visiting my father, but then I'd go back to my life, and it caused me to have anxiety attacks and depression. When I would go to doctors and try and get help, I couldn't even tell them because my dad had warned me, if you tell anyone about this, they might be obligated by law to actually tell the truth. We were paranoid that people were listening, and it turned out that when they finally caught my dad, they had tracked me by my cell phone and by Facebook. The police harassed me so much, and I've never had a mental breakdown like that, but it was horrible. I finally just broke and told them my father. was alive and was in Palm Springs. After being coerced into turning him in, I feel so much shame that I don't even know how to describe it. I would give my life. I would do anything to turn back the hands of time.
You said you feel guilt and shame
Yes,
and regret for turning your dad in after 25 years. And the only thing I want to talk to you about is I want you to let yourself off the hook, because I want to tell you that if anybody should feel guilt and shame, it's for your father involving you in this kind of subterfuge for 25 years. Who does that? Seriously, who does that? A father's job is to protect and nurture his children. A father doesn't go involve his daughter in some felony fraud against the government and then involve her in it so she carries that burden for 25 years and then she finally collapses under it and then gets to spend the rest of her life feeling guilty because she couldn't shoulder the burden. This isn't your fault.
Well, I kind of, yeah, I know. Well, see, that's what I need to get over.
Yeah.
You're a lot smarter than me, and I really need to get over that.
Well, I don't know about that, but
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if I'm smarter than you, but I'm smart enough to see, because I'm not involved in it, that the inappropriateness here was your father involving you in this, and that was not appropriate for him. It shouldn't have been done. And you need to do two things. Number one, give yourself permission to feel free of that burden and recognize that at this point you can just live your life, and if your family wants to be mad at you, if your family wants to be upset, let them walk in your shoes for 25 years carrying that secret. Let them judge you then, okay? They haven't earned that right. They didn't carry that burden. They did not carry that burden. They didn't carry that fear and that guilt that you're going to slip up, that something's going to happen. They didn't go through what you went through. They didn't get in that position at that time. They didn't get browbeat for that period of time and finally cave in. And so let them watch this. Maybe they'll feel differently about it.
Gosh, I hope so.
Okay, I do too. We'll be right back. Coming up, tips on how to make peace with your past. Whether someone wronged you or you made a decision you regret, forgiveness is what you do for yourself and not for other people. Here are some tips on how to make peace with your past by choosing forgiveness. When you're talking about forgiveness, you need to understand that it is a choice. Okay, this is not something that just washes over you someday and you feel delivered from pain and anguish. You choose to let it go. You choose to stop dealing every day with the bitterness and the hostility. Understand that you don't have to give your power away to someone that has hurt you and lock yourself into a bond of bitterness and anger with them every day. Don't cling to negative feelings. Make the choice to set yourself free. It doesn't mean that what they did to you is okay. It doesn't mean that they get a pass. It just means that you say, I choose not to spend the rest of my life locked in this bond of hatred with you. And understand, there is no right timeline for recovery. Everything is individual. Give yourself time to move on, but make the choice and take it one step at a time. You can't change the things that happened in your life, but you can decide how you interpret and respond.